Welcome back to another Flavored Enemy Legacies. This one, the legacy of Nito. On his journey home, having been gone for 3 years, 2 months, and 9 days. Nito, you're sitting up on the deck of the ship, looking out over the water. Just outside Salt Point. Ship has just started to set sail. Managed to get some free time from the rest of Vitore due to a little bit of shenanigans involving some shape changing. And having spent so much time away, decided that it's time to go home and see your dad, your mom, and your little sister Rena. And as you're sitting there on the deck of the ship, what are you thinking about? What are you doing?
And Nito's I'm just kind of looking at the ocarina, the blue and white ocarina that my father gave me over 3 years ago before I left, and thinking about all of my friends and allies in the Novatori, and the friends that I've made in the last 3 years, the ones that I've lost, the absolutely bizarre sights that I've seen, places I've been, high mountains, in and out of the dreaming lands, all these planes of gods, and all these bizarre things. And I think about the fact that I'm finally going home, but I'm missing my sister's birthday by a month. She just turned 18, and I haven't seen her, since she was a little kid. And that kind of, not quite sadness, but definitely a little bit, depressing tone. I'll close my eyes and just start playing a little sad song on the ocarina.
Okay. And you're sitting there playing, setting sail across the sea, going forward from Salt Point to Calt. Only one other passenger on the ship, Alphonse. You were also on the deck of the ship. Specifically, this is the Hellfish, is the name of the ship. What are you doing?
I am hearing this lovely ocarina music and feeling inspired. To outdo it, of course. I pull out my viol and start playing along, annoyingly.
Okay. And as you two make a sweet and odd melody through both of y'all's playing, the ship sets sail. The sun starts to set. And it's quite a beautiful and quiet and calm night on the sea. Theazide probably sleeping. The sailors calm and slow to their movements, enjoying the breath of quiet in between storms. And as you all are enjoying the night, you hear a small bell ring out from below the ship. Hey, everyone! Grub's up if you want it.
And with that, I will start playing a little bit softer and fading the ocarina until you can't hear it anymore. And I'll stand up do a little stretch as I've been in one place for a little while now, and give a little nod to the half-elf that I see playing their stringed instrument, and head over and get some food.
So as Nito kind of gives you that nod, Alphonse, what do you look like? What does Nito see?
So Alphonse is about 5'8", 5'9". I've got the pointy elven ears. I am decked out in mostly red with green and gold accents. My hat has a giant red feather in it. It's bobbing as I move. And I nod back at Nito and put my viola away and head in that direction as well.
Okay. You all both head down. Nito, you get to the front of the line, and the captain, Slipknot Pete, is right there and says, "Hey, you enjoying the hellfish? Sailing smooth enough for you?"
Yeah, it's much... I'll say this much, it's smoother coming home than it was my first time leaving home. That was...
I would say,
quite the journey.
No.
That first one.
It is an honor to escort you back home. I never got to thank the Novatori for what they did to help.
Well, it's part of what we do. We call ourselves what we call ourselves, because we kind of just wander around trying to be helpful, trying to help as many of the good folks that we can find. And you, my captain, you might not be one of the best, but you're good at heart, and that's what we see.
Well, still, if it weren't for you all, I might have never gotten off that island.
Well, you give yourself too little credit. You're more creative than you think. I'm sure you would have lassoed up some turtles or something, or surfed a shark.
What, for
way
rope?
out of there.
What would they use for rope?
What's that beard for, if nothing else?
For catching food that falls out of my mouth.
Good times. Good times.
And who's your friend here?
No idea, but they play very well, and I'll look back and I'll give a little nod again. I'm like, well met, stranger. You play very well. My name is Nito. I'm heading back home. What brings you onto the ship?
I am going to take my hat off, sweep into a very ostentatious bow. Alphonse Greenbow, at your service. And I am simply traveling and collecting tales. I couldn't help but overhear that you're a member of the Novatori, and I would love to hear your story firsthand if you have a chance. Later, of course.
Well, you happen to be a very lucky sort, I would say, because of all the Novatori, and when I do this, I start unlatching, it's a little holster, side holster, carries a book, and I will bring it out. And, one of the things I've been doing for the last 3 years is tracking everything that we've done. I promised my little baby sister that when I got home, I would tell her a story of all the grand adventures that I've been on. And this is my record of everything that's happened. All the amazing adventures, all the insane sights, all the comrades who fell and helped me get to where I am today. It's very precious to me.
First-hand written account is always better than second-hand stories. I'd love to take a look if you trust me with it.
We'll have to have a few drinks first. What's on the menu tonight, Captain?
Yes, we have stewed cod with rutabagas and diced turnip crab.
5 stars as always. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, and we have a fresh batch of hellfish pilsner to drink.
Ooh,
Sounds delightful.
It's nothing like the ales they make up in Skaldaren, but it's not too bad. And I will go and grab a bowl of food and a big ol' mug of Pilsner.
Well, eat up, and hammocks are just down below, so make sure to get some rest. I do not know how calm the seas will continue to be.
Yeah, and when that happens, Nito will grab his chest, and you see a symbol of Theozide there, and he just goes, "With any luck, Theozide will be kind to us for the rest of this adventure. I know he cares for all who cross his seas."
Oh, it's good to meet you, Alphonse, and any friends of Nido is a friend of ours. So, I'll be taking my leave. Time to go make sure the course is charted well. And he kind of walks off.
Well, I guess let's grab a table. And I can tell you a little bit of what's been going on the last 3 years and how the Novatori came to be what we are.
That sounds delightful. I'm gonna put my hat back on and also grab a mug and a plate and let's do this.
So I will sit down and I'm quiet for about the first 2 minutes as I'm just kind of eating a little bit. It's been a while since I had my last food, and finally I'll look up and it's funny looking back. The Novatori, we weren't always what we are now. If you could have been there that first day in Douglas, it was quite the day. I don't know if you're familiar with our, I guess, sister group, Andromeda, but I punched one of them in the face. That was
Sometimes
that was a
that's the
wild
best
time.
way to meet people. Punching them in the face.
Yeah, Quincy, man, that guy's. Tell you what, you need somebody who's a crack shot. Him and that team, they're wild. Gosh, but yeah, we started off in Douglas, and we were supposed to go and sail right from Douglas into the Tempest, but the gods had other plans for us. We ended up getting sucked into this bizarre time stream thing. But honestly, my favorite part was near the very beginning. We went up to this place, Skaldaren, up the northest north you can get. Absolutely freezing. And the Ghanid up there, they're absolutely wild. They are the best sort of people, though. They will make you feel welcome. They'll drink you under the table. They have these bears up there, the size, and I'm not kidding you, the size of a shack. These bears are 15 feet tall and not standing up, just regularly 15 feet tall, and that's up there. That's where I met the most beautiful woman in the world. Those Ganid, they're something special and neat. I will pull out a small purplish gemstone looking thing, and this shard right here, this shard was given to me by my love, Revna. She just wanted me to make sure I kept it safe before we left. We sailed off for the heart of the Tempest. It's been a while since I've been back there as well. I'll have to make a trip after going home. Oh man, if my family could see they would be the Ganid, they would completely lose it. They've never seen. Have you ever seen a Ganid? They're absolutely massive.
Yes.
Yeah. Even the children. It was fun. Oh man, you should have been there when our big tough guy, this massive half-orc Jamerson, he wrestled against these Ganid easily, a foot and a half taller than him, and he won. Won a couple matches. It was insane. Our friend Ziggy we kept trying to convince him to wrestle the children, but there was an incident at a tower that, well, he never got the chance. But we'll find him one day. We know that he's out there. He'll be back. Those time works weird for the Fae, and we know it's only a matter of days before Ziggy comes to force again. And oh my goodness, I almost forgot my. Well, friend is a weird word for Drian. We get along very, very well, but I'm not the brightest member of the Novatori, and I know that can rub some of them the wrong way, but Drian is an absolute necessity to have at your back. I'll never forget, we were battling these water elementals. Just, we couldn't find a way to keep them down. Every time we tried to strike them, they would just, our swords and our arrows would go right through them. Drian, I don't know if they said a prayer or what, but they clutched their chest and became this living storm. Just exploded these elementals. It was not just lightning, it was everywhere. It was one of the most humbling experiences I've ever seen. And shortly after that, we had we made our trip to Arcadia. We had to find this item that would help us get into the tower, this bronze tower that we were looking to find in. We needed to find this certain item, and apparently it was up on this peak at the top of the Celestial Mountains, and we had to hike all the way up there. It was bizarre. It was tough. I mean, the amount of times that we slipped and fell and saved each other from falling to certain death. You know, these are the people. I wouldn't rather have anybody but the Vitore with me in that kind of situation. We may not get along all the time, but there will never be a time when I can't count on Acacia, Adrian, Jameson, Alex, any of them, even Ziggy, who we haven't seen in years. I know if we were up against the wall that they would find a way to appear to us when we need them the most, because they all have a way of doing that. I'll look down at my right arm, and you can see that the armor I wear, it's kind of asymmetrical. It's like a little leather harness covers the chest piece and the left shoulder, and then there's like a sleeve tattoo going down the right arm. And look down and chuckles a little bit. Most of all, I can always count on Zala, our resident tattooist, always giving us that little extra edge that people don't expect. This whole thing took well over a year, and you can tell it's shoulder to wrist at this point. And if you look into it, you can see some of the stuff that I've been talking about: the mountain, the Celestial Mountains, us fighting a watermelon. All like the scenes have been tattooed into Nito's arm of what happened. And he was kind enough to do these for me, so that even though I have my notebook, I would never ever forget what happened. These people are more than family. We might have started as wandering strangers, but we've become so much more. Even old Slipknot Pete there, part of that story, we found him on an island of cannibals just outside where we were trying to find the Bronze Tower. And hey Pete, what do you think you taste like? Think we could serve you in a stew?
It's not funny, Nito. I escaped that once. We're good. No more eating me.
Alright. Tell you what, man, we throw you in with some nice shallots and some carrots. But yeah, it's nice to get a break. I needed to sail home. My little sister, Rena, she just turned 18 about a month ago, and even though she's a woman now, I promised her that I'd be back and I'd read her a bedtime story about all of the adventures that I had. And I think that's long overdue.
ship kind of rocks back and forth. A little bit of waves crashing on the side. Nothing ridiculous, nothing out of the ordinary. Just enough to put a break into the conversation as the tiredness of the travels and the sleepiness of just being so weary of the road and of the sea and everything that's ahead kind of just hits both of you. And what do you both do? It's currently about 7:30 at night.
I'll look down and on the inside of Nito's forearm, you'll see it goes in this one right here. Tap the inside of it. This is the best story of all. We spent some time up in Skaldaren, as I said, and we did the seeking up there. We met the Iron Bjorn, the bears up there, and the one adventurer that I haven't mentioned yet, Inoki. It took them longer than they wanted, but they found a bond that they had been missing a long time in their life, and they finally found it in this massive 18-foot tall bear that you should see her riding. It is the most bizarre thing you will ever see in the world. Just this bear the size of an elephant charging into combat. This tiny little creature on the back stabbing away at anything that gets close to, honestly, I would say the love of their life. Those two are just inseparable at this point. And I know that they'll be eagerly awaiting my return. As one of my abilities is I'm able to communicate with animals, and I helped them form the bond that they have now. They don't need me anymore. They know what the other is thinking just by looking at each other, and it's something that you wouldn't believe until you saw it. Just the bond that those two share is magical and enviable. And I hope one day to share that bond with somebody that I love as well.
This all sounds absolutely fantastic. Are you a bard by chance? Because writing and the pictorial descriptions that you have on your person seem to lend to that proclivity.
I had plans to possibly enter one of the colleges, yes, when I left off from home. And I'll clutch my chest and start kind of playing with the symbol of Theozide. But there was a greater calling for me and my abilities. And I gladly live my life in service to Theozide now, as one of his noble knights, and I make sure to live my life ever seeking the glory that sailors are wont to do.
There's no shame in that. I do feel like you might be wasting your talents. Or perhaps
Yeah,
not.
my parents would probably say the same. They would probably agree with you. But there are plenty in the Novatory that can handle that sort of thing, and they
Being
need...
a bard, you have many bards in the Novatory? This is not something I had heard before.
We don't have any bards in the Novatory, but we have people that can do similar thing. And,
Similar to telling the stories of your grandeur.
well, and I'll just show off my arm. Yeah.
It's fair enough, I suppose.
We're not here for the glory. We're here to do what needs to be done. And there's a great many things that still need to be done, but we are happy that we have been able to assist the people that we have been able to help. And I'm sure, and I'll look over at Pete and be like, and I'm sure some of them appreciate it as well.
You know I do. It's why I did not charge you.
Yeah, you didn't charge me, but you still made me load all the cargo.
It's only fair.
You save a guy from being eaten by cannibals, and all of a sudden, oh, hey, I'll let you on my ship, but you gotta be a deckhand at the start.
Not a bad trade. I get
also
to
feed
entertain
you.
others.
You do.
Speaking of which, it's about that time. I should probably go.
Do you feed me, or does the cook feed me?
Well, nuances. What can I say? So, what do you both do? Alphonse, you go and head up on the deck to play, or you play in the kitchen?
I am going up on deck to play because I need room to dance.
Okay. Nito, what are you gonna do?
I'm just gonna head over to Pete real quick and just give him the old, the forearm grasp. And goes, I appreciate everything you've done for me and the Novatory. You are a staunch ally as always, and I appreciate you taking me home for this trip.
Well, it is my honor. I just hope that the war is not stretched too hard into Avandra.
Well, we'll do what we can to make sure that it doesn't ingress as far as it wants to. But, and he thinks back to all the other people that, in Andromeda, all of the alliances that they've made. Well, we'll do what we can, but I know others have their own plans as well. We'll make sure the casualties are as minimal as possible, and that those who help us the most will be given their proper respects.
I am thankful. You introduced me to your friend, Antigone, who did wonderful updates to my ship. So, because of this, we will only take 2 more days to reach Cult.
Yeah, I mean, the new sails, they look amazing. They don't have holes in it like the old ones.
Yes, well, it added to the aesthetic, if you know what I mean. The holes.
Oh, the aesthetic of being a poor privateer?
I meant everyone thought that the Hellfish was a ghost ship before. Because nothing with that many holes in it could still be floating and
Well,
not
honestly,
be a ghost ship.
well, they'll still think it's a ghost ship once they see your mug up in the prow.
You're a good fun, Nido.
I've missed you. I'll just give him a hug, and I'm gonna go see what our new companion is getting up to up top. I want to make sure that they're not making things too raucous up there.
Okay. So you head up, and Alphonse, what's the performance that is currently happening up there?
Your current performance is a rendition of an old sea shanty. I am dancing around. There are illusory ships in the air as I'm singing the song and playing the viol, being pulled under by great whales. It's very illustrative. And I see Nito come up and nod and wink, give him some bardic inspiration as I continue doing this very bright
Nito,
and shiny performance.
I will join you, and I see the dancing and everything going on, and as everything's going on, you notice what appears to be spectral-looking sharks, very small, about maybe 6 to 8 inches long, about 10 to 12 of them start swirling around my feet and my knees, and I hold my hand out with the ocarina in it, and as these spectral sharks whip by, the ocarina just hovers there, held in place by them, and then the wind that they circulate as they go by just starts playing the ocarina for itself. And Nito starts joining in the dance as the ocarina appears to play itself with these, like I said, spectral, almost luminescent sharks just swirling around it.
You guys continue to perform and enjoy the night. And a few hours go by, and weariness and exhaustion kind of hits you. So you head downstairs to get some rest for the night. And wake up the next morning. One more full day at sea. You should reach there tomorrow night. What are you two doing with your day?
I will wake up a little after dawn, eat a ration of my own to avoid, taking from the ship. For as much as I know that Pete wants to be hospitable, I know that they aren't making the most money right now, so I won't take out of their stores. And then I will go around, talk to the bosun, see how they're doing, and then see if he knows of any of the other deckhands who could use maybe some assistance in getting the ship, keeping things steady. See how they're doing.
Yes. Well, we should be good. We should be all set. But if you wanted to go and make sure that there's no more birds up in the squalls, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, of course. I will gladly help. And he'll look around and identify it and start, climbing his way up, making sure that everything's clear.
Okay. Yep, you don't see anything. Looks like there was a nest at one point, but no real problems now. Looks like the nest was pretty much destroyed. You assume last night.
Mm.
So nothing else after that. Alphonse, what are you doing?
I am compiling all of the notes from Nino's tale last night and writing it out in verse to come up with the first draft of the Tales of the Novatori. And once Nito is free of his tasks, I will seek him out and try and convince him to perhaps study a Bard College on the road.
So you compile that list, work on your notes and your verses and such. And day kind of drags along quietly, no problems. Are either of you two doing anything particular today, or are you just kind of taking it easy?
I am going to do a bit of fishing.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of. How are you fishing? Are you sitting on the side of the ship and casting a line in, or are you diving in?
I'm tying the rope to myself, tying that to the side of the ship, and then just diving on in.
You're gonna keel haul yourself?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, make an acrobatics check.
I am preparing healing spells.
14.
Yeah, you take a nice acrobatic dive off of the side of the ship, and after tethering yourself to it, and the current kind of pulls you underneath it for a second, but you're able to get your legs kick in, and as they meld back into the fin, you take out from underneath the ship. And you can see that there is a bunch of ring-toothed snappers that are leeching off the side of the ship, eating the barnacles. You can also see a little bit further down. It looks to be like maybe it could be a feathered whale, but you haven't seen one up close, so you're not too sure if that's what that is.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the whale alone and take out a little, just on the side of his hip, just a little knife, little dagger. Comes to a very sharp point and try to just stab one of these fish.
Okay. All right, why don't you go ahead and roll to hit?
It's a 21.
You were one real nice and good. Roll damage.
8.
You pierce right into it and hook it onto that spear, nice and good. Good stick, as the blood kind of pours out from behind it and into the water behind you, trailing.
And with that, Nito's just gonna put the handle in my mouth, grab onto the rope, and try to pull myself out.
All right, give me another acrobatics check or athletics. Sorry.
Athletics. Sorry. That's a 24.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. No, that's animal handling. It's the same modifier though, so.
Roll it again.
Yeah.
Can I animal handle the rope?
Yeah. 11.
You still climb up just fine, no problems. Get yourself all the way up to the top with your spear and your ring-toothed suckerfish.
And I'll just pop it off, and I'll make my way to the kitchen area and give a little nod to the cook and be like,
Yeah.
a little extra for lunch for the lads today.
Oh, thanks. It's been a long time since I cooked with ringtail suckerfish. They usually try to latch on you the minute you get close.
Yeah, you got a couple sucking away at the barnacles. I figured I'd leave some of them there, help make the ship kind of nice and clean, but
Yeah, they're good for that.
yeah. But I figured, taking care of one of them wouldn't be too bad. I did have to kill it under the water, though, so might be a blood trail a ways back, so there might be some, predatory fish coming this way.
Yeah, well, hopefully nothing too big.
Nothing a member of the Vitore shouldn't be able to handle, and I'll just kind of put my hands on my hips, Superman style.
Yeah, I mean, like, Captain Slipknot tells us quite often about all the achievements that you had. Something about you, like, single-handedly taking on a goo monster?
He likes to exaggerate a little bit, but there was a goo monster, yes, but unfortunately one of our comrades had to make the ultimate sacrifice in order to contain them.
Well, I might be able to make some, what are the theorem? There was a theorem gentleman who taught me a recipe using fish and rice and seaweed. I'm gonna try to see if I can whip it up.
Is that the one with the dried seaweed?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, I heard about that on my adventures. Yes, it's supposedly a massive delicacy. I haven't found a place that does it though. Where did you hear about this? I've always wanted to try it.
Yeah. So we had a gentleman come in as a theorem from Nara, and he said that it's a delicacy there. They use I think they use dragonfish is what they use.
Oh, that's interesting.
But
fish to find.
Fish is fish, right?
I would assume so. I mean,
yeah. So
not everybody that can get their hands on dragonfish. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, they like the warmer waters.
Yeah. So
well, I'll whip something up with this.
I'll put Nara on the list. I'll find a way to get the Vitore down there. Maybe steal a few recipes for you, and I'll be back to the Hellfish and give you a little bit of expertise training on that.
Sounds good.
All right. And I'll kind of just head outside and bask in the sun for a little bit.
Okay. Alphonse, you do anything else with your time?
Nah, I'm just barding it. Being very focused on this story. Knowledge of lore.
So the rest of the day slips away. Really calm, quiet, nothing else too crazy happening. As you all get some sleep and wake up again for the next day. You should be arriving about 8 p.m. tonight. And thankfully, you're arriving on a Taman day, so you might be able to scoop up some tacos.
How was the rice, fish, seaweed delicacy?
You guys never got to have it. It got thrown out. Something about the dish failing the poison test.
Oh, are we down a crew member? That would be unfortunate.
We have one crew member who is currently in the infirmary.
I can help with that, I think. Oh, I cannot help with that.
I'll wake up in the morning again and I'll find the bosun again and be like, hey there, I was looking to do a little bit more fishing on this morning, but I don't have a pole, and honestly, I don't feel like jumping in and dealing with that whole legs to fin thing again. Do you guys have any poles available?
Who are you asking?
The bosun.
Okay. He kind of looks at you and says, yeah, no, we don't have any poles. The captain has a harpoon that we use.
No, I'm good. I'm not that good of a shot with the harpoon. So what I will do instead is I'll just head over to like the side of the ship, pull out the ocarina, and see if I can't play it and get some, flying fish or whatever, dolphin or dolphin equivalent to kind of just jump out of the water and accompany us on our way inward.
Okay. And Alphonse, what are you doing?
Today I am pestering Nito.
Okay, so you see Nito over there playing away at the ocarina.
Still, friend, you should be coming into town this evening. I was wanting to know if you would be interested in perhaps learning a bardic college on the road.
I'll still playing the ocarina. I'll let it fade. I'd be lying if I didn't say the abilities of a bard never appealed to me, but I don't know if I would be able to afford the time. While I'm in cult, I must visit my family. I haven't seen them in years, and
Of course.
I need to. Honestly,
I'm
I
not
need
talking about
cash.
during your family visit. I mean when you go back to your adventures with the Novatori. You already play an instrument. It's just a half a step from learning the magic of Bard.
I mean, I already do magic, and with that, the sharks again will just kind of spiral up, starting at his feet and then going to the top of his head, and they'll just kind of like helixly swim around him. And he just looks back and goes, "Well, the Novatori. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have my notebook filled. That was the whole point of me going on my adventure, was to collect these stories for my sister." And he'll kind of look up a little bit, and Revna, my sweet, darling, gigantic Revna, she mentioned starting a family with me. And whether that means bringing her down to Cult or me going up to Skaldaren, it wouldn't leave much time for the Novatori. I mean, I can't go off doing the things that the Novatori do, knowing I have a child at home. Knowing that any day could be the day that I leave that child fatherless. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am without my parents, Typhon, Kella, my sister Rena. Family's very, very important to me, and I don't know. As close as I am with the Novatori, they're not blood. They are a second family, but they're not what I need most.
It's good to see a man with priorities straight. I'll give you that.
You see the water off of the edge of the ship kind of steam a little bit as you see a flash of red and orange and white scales as it kind of surfaces, and you can see the pointed mouth of a 9-foot long fish kind of look at you with these bright red eyes and exude that hot air as you see the dragonfish kind of dip down below under the water, steam pouring off the top of the water as it dives down below.
A dragonfish here. That's not right. I've got to tell the captain. And I will take off for the captain's quarters.
And I will keep an eye on that fish, so when they come back, we know where it's at.
Okay. So you head over to the captain's quarters.
I'll just
and
bang on the door.
Yes.
Captain, sorry for intruding. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important, but I was talking with Alphonse, that bard from the other night, and we were on the side of the ship, and a dragonfish appeared up at the top.
Good luck, they're supposed to be here.
Yeah, good luck, but they're not from here.
Oh, well. All the things that have been happening lately. Who knows where things belong anymore, anyways. I mean, let's be honest, Nino. You talked about moving to Scalderan. Is that where the Vanai are supposed to be?
There's water everywhere. Vanai are where the water are.
Yes, but the water up in Scalderan is frozen to snow and ice.
Ice is still water. I'll
come take a look at it to make sure everything seems fine.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Life leaves me on edge.
Aye, yes. Well, let me get a second. I'll gather my things and I'll be right out.
Of course. And I'll head back to the deck.
Okay. Reach over there. Alphonse, you see that the dragonfish has just been kind of swimming alongside you guys.
Not really doing anything, but keeping us company, it seems.
And I'll look down at my ocarina and I wonder. And I'll start playing the tune that lets me, kind of just attract aquatic creatures. And I'll see if that has any effect on it.
You see it start to edge closer to the ship, flick itself up to where it's almost eye level with you, whip its tail as a singular scale flips off of it and directly at you.
Can I try to catch it?
Yeah, acrobatics check.
23.
You snag it right in your hand as the dragonfish dives down below the water and out of sight.
That is a wonderful and strange magic of yours, Nito.
You're not the first person to tell me that. Drian tells me I'm strange all the time. And he's not wrong, but I like to believe that each member of the Vitore brings something unique to the group. This might be what I bring. DM, about how large is this scale?
It's roughly about 4 inches wide by about 3 inches tall.
Okay. It's like a palm size.
Yes, yeah. It's about the size of your palm. And it's about an inch thick too. And it's warm to the touch.
Huh.
Like a nice warm temperature, like almost like a plate fresh out of like the dishwasher temperature.
Yeah. I'll have to. Just look at it. This would make the perfect late birthday gift for Rena. I'll get this put on a chain for her and That would make up for 3 years of not seeing her big brother.
The sun slowly starts to go to that edging right on dusk. You're about 3 hours away from halt at this point. What are you doing with your remaining 3 hours at sea?
Man, I'm just... Nito is probably either up in the crow's nest, or if that's occupied, just at the very far front of the ship trying to see land as soon as he can.
And I am playing songs about shore leave.
As you get closer, you start to edge further and further closer to the coast. I'd like you to make a perception check, please.
16.
You see halt, but not like you remember it. Burnt out buildings, bashed up docks, farmland in cinders. No more liveliness, no more blue skies, just gray emptiness.
Am I in the crow's nest or just up at the front of the ship?
You're at the crow's nest.
I see all that, and Nito I'm just frozen for a minute or two. He doesn't even react at first. It's just pure shock. And I'll rub my eyes, look down, and think that maybe it's a trick of the setting sun, or what have you, and then take a second look. And when he sees the same image, it's just I'll not even like climbing down. I find the nearest rope and I just slide down to the deck as fast as I can.
And you hear the captain start barking orders.
Be ready to drop. Be ready to drop. We need to move now.
Captain, we need to get ashore as fast as possible, please.
Yes. Take a rowboat. We are in pursuit.
Yeah.
Ships from Batharai are. Damn it! We should have seen this coming.
Has the war made it this far already?
I haven't been back to Colt in almost 2 years, so I do not know. But it looks like it, yes. Not to mention, looks to be 3 gilded man-o'-wars from Batharai are set to attack us at any moment.
Yeah,
so,
you get out of here. I thought Evander defenses would have been better.
Hey, take a rowboat. Take a rowboat. Here.
Thank you.
Yes, speak with Chef. He get you a week of rations.
Don't worry about it. I've got my own. Don't worry about it. You guys just get out of here. Don't worry about fighting. Just take off. Just go. Go, please.
Fox, if you want to get out, if you don't want to be in an attack, in the naval combat, I suggest you leave with Nido.
If you're sure you don't need the help.
I'm sure. No.
His crew is very capable. Unless you're an experienced sailor, you'd be weighing them down.
I would normally take offense to that, but we don't have time. Let's go.
You two clamber into the rowboat, and Captain Slipknot Pete cuts the ropes, and you guys drop the 15 feet from the level that you're at all the way to the water itself below.
I am like cartoon style, like already rowing, like as the boat's in the air.
All right,
Like so, we hit the water and just take off.
go ahead and make me an athletics check.
That's a nat 1, baby.
You row, and snap. Your right oar just snaps up again with the amount of pressure you're putting on it.
We need to get there. We need to. Can you swim?
You're currently about 3 miles away from shore.
I don't think that would be wise for someone like me.
You see the hellfish pulling off to the left as you see that there are 3 gilded man-o'-wars carrying the Boss Rye flag that are approaching maybe a mile behind.
You're a bard. Do you have any magic that could help us right now?
I will check.
And while she's doing that, I will just grab my pendant of Theoside around my neck and just... Please, Great Serpent, please, if there's anything you can do to help me save my family, please do it now.
Go ahead and roll me a percentage check, please.
$19.
Your amulet feels cold, unresponsive. Like there isn't even a glimmer or spark there. Just abandoned.
Something's wrong with Theoside. This isn't normal for this. We need to get to town quickly.
Will make this any faster.
What do you all do? You see the Gilded Men of Wars
No.
closing in fast.
Trying to find something. Where is it? Where are my features? There we go.
I would like to prep Shatter when it
I
comes
have to-
into range.
Okay.
I'm just looking something up real quick because I can't find it on my sheet, and I know I have it.
So range is 60 feet. The trigger will be once it enters that range.
Okay.
It will cast that.
About how big is this rowboat? Is this just like an 8-10 foot rowboat?
Yeah, it's just a simple, small 2-person rowboat.
I look at my new friend. Like, could you mind turning your back real quick? I've got to take my pants off, otherwise this gets weird.
It's weirder that you said it instead of just doing it, but sure.
So with that, Nito will take his pants off so that he and jump into the water.
Your legs fuse back together into a fin.
And I will use my channel divinity, Peerless Athlete. I can, as a
Excellent.
bonus action, for the next 10 minutes, I have advantage on athletics and acrobatics checks, and I can push full drag twice as much as normal.
Okay.
And so I'm just going to get behind the rope. I'm just going to get behind the boat and just swim us to shore.
That's going to be an athletics check. Go for it.
Wild.
All right. First one is a 10. Second one's a 12.
You take off, pushing the ship, the rowboat pretty quickly as you kind of get a brief second to look behind you. As you do, you see that the man-o'-wars are turning about to head towards the hellfish, which is, as you can tell, purposefully leading them away from where you are.
Good old
And-
cat and heat.
You take off, moving further and further towards the ruins of Cult. As you swim, and getting to the exhausted point, you finally reach the edge of Cult, near where the ruins of the docks once were, sunken ships all about, shattered wood strewn all around on the beaches, in the water. It doesn't look like it happened recently. And as you finally reach there, you see that there is rubble all around. You finally reach up and clamber your way up to shore, your legs separating, your fins separating back into legs. You step right on a piece of wood you see just says fish and chips.
Oh no, not Gaseous Pete. Would I recognize that as Gaseous Pete's stall sign?
Yes. Yeah, it was Gaseous Pete's stall sign.
Fuck. Toss me on my pants real quick. And
Absolutely do that.
put my pants back on. Do my belt, make sure that both of my sabers are at my side. My bow good across my back. Be prepared for a shitstorm.
Always.
If there's anything like Basrai is usually, well, there's going to be some fucked up stuff in town. And I will just unsheath both of my sabers and start heading into town.
Yeah, I pull out my rapier and follow.
I think our best course of action would be to go to Volt's Travel Goods. If anybody's still alive, it's going to be him. If he's not alive, there might be stuff there we can use.
This is your home. I will follow your lead.
You travel around and you see that there's elderly people that are moving around, coughing and walking slowly, carrying just bundles of rags and moving through the city slowly as they kind of collectively gather around what used to be the Dragon Roost Inn, but now it's just a piece of wood that's nailed over the sign that says clinic. See Retstimel's enchantments where it once stood is now just a pile of ash, ruined wood. You see Volt's Travel Goods. You see Volt, a blue kobold who is currently sitting outside, and he is sitting at a table and handing out rations to people in line.
Are you good at being quiet? I know you like to play, but are you good at being quiet?
Yes, it can be.
Okay. Follow me around back. And I will attempt to sneak around to the back of Volt's store and go in through the back door.
Okay.
And I'll follow.
All right. You head over and you see Volt's back door. What do you do?
I see if it's... Well, first, I check for the usual traps that I know that he puts there.
There's not a single one.
That's not good. This is supposed to be trapped. I'll go to open it.
It's unlocked as you open it.
This isn't
You see
right.
There's just a pile of rapidly prepared rations in the center of the warehouse area where all of his goods once stood. All the rest of the shelves are just empty.
I will sneak my way through the door. Is the front door closed as well?
It is.
Alright. On the front door, I will do a little knock that I used to do back when I worked with Volt to let him know that it was me coming and not, just some random person.
Perception check.
Perception?
Yep.
Okay. 11.
Okay. And from you, Alphonse?
That's an 8.
Roll for initiative.
That's an 8.
$17.
Okay.
There we go.
So, as soon as you go to reach for the door, you hear the sound of a bowstring releasing an arrow as an arrow flies towards your hand. Does a 17 hit?
Just hits my armor class.
Pierces right into the center of your hand. And that'll be 11 points of piercing damage. Hands off things that aren't yours. Doing in here?
Do I recognize that voice?
You have no idea where it's coming from, and it sounds vaguely familiar, but not too sure.
I'm here to help.
You snuck in the back door.
I'm an old friend, and I'll do the knock that Volt taught me. That, again, the secret knock that he had to let him know it was me.
Who the hell are you? As the door kind of opens, and Colt looks at you.
Nito?
A bit
And
more
you just hear
scarred than when I left, but yes.
You hear the sound of a bow hitting the floor from behind you.
Yeah.
Nito? As you see peering out of the shadows, Rena, your sister, but older. A lot older.
Looks like you took after your big brother. Glad
Looks
to
like
see
you're
y'all.
still an idiot.
Yeah, well, some things never change.
I would like to
She
heal
just
Nito's
runs
hand.
up to you. She just runs up to you, arrow still in the door, and just hugs you.
I'll hug her back and pick her up a little bit.
Demons, damn it! I thought you were dead.
You know your big brother could never die, not without keeping my promise.
It's been 3 years.
Well, writing a book isn't a quick job. And I will pull out the notebook that she gave me and show her the first page that has her little note to me. It's all here. 3 years of adventures. All for you.
Just kind of puts her head in her hands. Sinks to the floor.
Okay.
We need to talk. As Clock just
Looks
kind of
like
looks
we do.
bewildered still. Sorry,
Me.
Volt just kind of looks bewildered still.
And I'll look at Volt and I'll nod at him. Glad to see you're still kicking, old man. Knew you were a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah. It's good to see you again, Nito.
Yeah. I was imagining a better homecoming, but we'll cover that later. I got a little catching up to do if you don't mind.
Yeah. You can use the shop. Just don't take any rations. We need it for the people.
Of course. I would never. Close the door back up and head into like the back room. Rena, what happened? How is Boss Ride this far inland?
They came overseas. Took the city maybe a year ago.
Year?
We fought
Like this?
hard. I learned how to sail and how to shoot cannons. Dad, Mom, they didn't
I know.
make it.
Were you at least able to return them to the sea?
Yeah.
Then don't worry. They're with the Azade now. He'll make sure they're all right.
But they're not.
Not here, they're not. But where they are, they're fine.
No. And she kind of just opens her eyes and looks at you, and you see this spectral energy just eschew off of her face. As you can see the silhouette of your dad, your mom, and countless other people you knew from around the city just ebb off of her
Rena, what's
like silhouettes. It's my fault.
What is this? How did you? How?
It him.
I'll try to wipe some of the tears out of her eyes.
What's done is done. We gotta. Now that you're back, you can help us. You can go take out those ships that have been keeping us all stuck here with no supplies.
I can't destroy a ship on my own, but you need to tell me how did this happen to you? When did this happen to you?
Roll a persuasion check.
7.
Doesn't matter. It's over with. We need to focus on what's next.
Well, you're right. If Mom and Dad were anything, it was focusing on the big goal. We need to get this town safe again. You said it's been like this for a year.
Yeah.
Are there? Do you know how many guards are around? Do you know who's in charge?
There's some guards who are in charge of protecting the survivors, but there's only 4 here. Most of the army is still in the battle that's taking place around Douglas. So we haven't had much in the veins of reinforcements. Alabaster's already been destroyed, so...
Demons damned. I don't know what... I can't destroy a ship, but 4 guards from Boss Reich. And Nita will look over his shoulder at Alphonse. Well, Alphonse, how do you feel about rebellion?
I feel like that's a great idea. But just want to clarify. Are these guards helping you, or are they from Boss Rai?
They're what's left of the guards of cult. I'm also pretty good in a fight too. I can help, you know.
You're my little sister. I don't want you in harm's way. You're all I have left.
Been in harm's way for 2 years now.
Yeah, that's when I wasn't here. I'm here now.
What's a few more days? If they can help save
They could be
everyone
your
here.
last few days.
No, then it'd be.
And I'll be damned if I'm going to be the reason for that.
Nito, I understand you want to protect your family.
My
However-
last family.
However, the threat, like Boss Rai, is not one to be underestimated, and we should use all possible help.
I'm not going to use my sister. She's not a tool.
She's a volunteer. And she has skill. Look at the state of your hand.
Hand is fine.
Now, she has just as much a right to fight in this as you do. She was here when it happened.
I'll look over at Rena. Rena, is there anyone else that you know of that wants to fight back? Obviously, Volt isn't happy, but I'm not going to ask him to risk his neck. He has
Probably
a
best
important
if-
job here.
Probably best if Volt stays here.
Yeah.
To be honest, my brother, there's not many heroes left. They've all tried to do exactly what we're doing, but they didn't know what I know now.
Which is?
Did you see the 3 ships on your way in?
Yeah, they're gone right now. The Hellfish was able to distract them momentarily, but they'll be back. They won't catch that ship, but they won't chase it for very long either.
Well, supposedly there's 3 prisoners, one on each ship, that they've been holding there, trying to get more information about Douglas's defenses. If we could free them, they might be the tide that we need to turn this. Are you familiar with Piper Viridian and Grace Bathory and Maya Mellifers, the Queen?
Of course.
I have Queen Maya.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, Queen Maya's being held on one ship, Piper Viridian on another, and Grace Bathory on the final.
Maya.
All 3 of them legendary fighters. They could help us
Of course,
if
I
we could
remember
get them out.
The Queen. You were young back then, but the Queen tried recruiting me into the Navy when I was still here. I guess it's time I pay her back for that kindness. Who's on these ships, defense-wise? What are we in for?
Each one has a captain and a crew of 25. On the scouting missions I've done so far, the weakest ship looks to be the one protecting Piper. I've tried by myself, but I barely got out of there.
Well,
the real problem is the captains. The crew are cannon fodder, easily dispensed with, but the captains, on the other hand, they'd be an equal match for me if it was just them.
Well then. About what time is it right now? You said we landed a little after 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's starting to get dark. Do you have any supplies that might be helpful? Like explosives? Anything that can...
Yeah.
Blind? Flash powder? Anything?
Yeah. Back at home.
Do you know where they weigh anchor?
Yeah, it's about 3 miles off the coast. Near the cove. Remember that place where...
Yeah. Well, we have a boat we can get there, and I'll look around the store. We're gonna need to borrow an oar from Volt here, and I don't think he'll mind.
Volt doesn't have any oars. Most of those goods were pillaged and stolen. We only really got these rations thanks to some smugglers.
What about at the house? Do you have anything at the house? We busted an oar on the way here.
I haven't been in there since 2 years ago, but...
Dad always had fishing gear in his closet.
Yeah, you remember that woodworking shop that he had?
Yeah, out back, yeah.
Maybe he has something in there. I haven't been in there since he died.
Yeah. Let's head home first. We'll talk about things later.
Yeah.
Let's head out the back, though. I don't want people in town knowing I'm here. Just yet, at least. Let's be as quiet as we can. So what?
You guys continue out of the shop and head towards home. You make a stealth check, all you two, and I'll make a stealth check for Rena.
23 for me.
$19 for Alphonse.
All three of you slip out quietly and head towards your home, as you see that relatively it's still intact. Dark, overgrown, and a little dreary, but intact.
Are the rest of the houses nearby in the same condition, or are they mostly like run down and busted?
A good portion of them are run down and busted, but there are a couple that are still in okay conditions.
All right, let's slip inside real quick.
Yeah.
As we do so, I'll light one of the lanterns inside and
start gathering up supplies.
Yeah. I'm going to head to the shed and see what I can find.
Yeah. So as you start heading out to the shed, you kind of, for a brief second, you pass your dad's chair. in the corner of the room that he used to read at. Just,
I'll place a hand on it and just pause for a moment as I walk by.
you collect yourself back up and head towards the shed. There's currently a giant lock on the shed itself. The windows are barred. That wasn't there before. Neither was the lock.
I'll go back to the house. Rena, did you lock the shed, or was this Dad before he passed?
Yeah, that was. He did that before he passed. He told me just not to worry about anything in there. He just wanted to make sure it was all stayed safe. So.
Do you have the key for it, or?
Yeah. She goes into the kitchen, opens a drawer, rifles through it, and brings you a key. There you go.
Thanks, sis.
Yeah.
By the way, would you, and I'll pop out my bag of rations for you and Alphonse. Eat up. It looks like we're gonna have a busy night.
All right.
Do you have any
thanks.
tea or anything for?
Like tea?
Anything
Neither.
to drink?
Why would I have tea? I have some water that I've boiled. That would be good to drink, but I don't have tea.
I have a water skin that here's some fresh water. Some fresh water. Here. And I'll hand her my water skin as well.
You see her kind of just smiling at you, like, and you can tell that she has not smiled in years.
And also here, just in a much smaller. I know you're stressed out. Here's a little bit of wine. Have a couple of sips. Okay? And I will head to the shed.
Okay. And so Alphonse, you and you're sitting inside, and Rena walks to you and says, so you're Alphonse then?
I am.
My brother said we share this ration before tonight's events.
You can have that. I can take care of myself.
Okay. You see her pop open the wineskin, drink the entire thing in about 4 gulps, and start chowing down on the ration.
Oh, right. Technically an adult, I suppose.
That's much better. So, how did you meet my brother?
We met on the ship, actually.
Oh, so kind of just thrust into this, huh?
I have known we've been at war. I have been collecting tales, and I am not completely useless in a fight.
I'm glad to have you here. I'm sorry, I don't really have much to offer in terms of, like, household niceties. But I do have a roof, so there is that.
It is certainly better than nothing, and I have definitely slept in worse places. And hospitality is not the thing that should be at the fore.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna go gather up some supplies. I have a couple of bags that are in the kitchen that are filled with all kinds of rope that I've gathered, if any of that will be helpful. I'm gonna go scoop up some other stuff. And that brings us to you, Nito, as you head out to the shed.
I'll just look at this key that Rena gave me and think that the last time I got something from my father was the ocarina, and even though I thanked him for it when I got it, I never got the chance to show him how good I got at playing it, and that I won't have that opportunity until much, much later. And I will walk very heavily towards the shed and unlock it.
You unlock it, open the door, and you see that your dad's woodworking supplies are kind of strewn all over the place. But on the back wall, there is 4 shelves with flasks, big glass flasks filled with a sort of bright green liquid, and then cloth stuffed into the top of each flask. There's about 15 flasks there.
I've never seen Father. What is this?
Kind of scoot closer, you see that there's like a small trash bin off to the side, and you can see that there are about 9 or 10 failed carved ocarinas in there.
I will look about the shed for any sort of notes about a recipe for whatever this liquid is, see if there's anything that matches its description or that would require some sort of alchemical process to create.
You do see a small bit of parchment that has a recipe on it, and it looks to be written in what looks to be Macedonia, or what looks to be Minotaur.
Only Drian were here.
But you do see that it does contain images of what the flasks look like and the liquid and what level it should be filled to and such like that. But you're not able to make out any of the words.
I will take that parchment and I'll take one of the flasks. I'll close the door with the flask kind of under my cloak, behind my back. I'll walk back in. Rena, Alphonse.
You see her poke her head around the corner with a handful of makeshift spears. Yeah.
Can either of you read this? And I'll place it down on the table.
I gotta say, Minotaur is not one of the languages I learned.
Alphonse?
Unfortunately, that is not a language that I know either.
Great. So you can't read that. So I'm guessing you wouldn't recognize this. I will place the flask on the table.
And that'll be an Arcana check, Alphonse.
A whole 10.
You do recognize it, having written many tales about its properties. This is Alchemist's Fire.
This is just what we need, actually. Alchemist's Fire.
is extremely flammable. Matter of fact, it'll actually stay on fire even if water is poured onto it. It is said that you can literally light the top of the ocean on fire with alchemist's fire.
Well,
My eyes are
We guys-
shining bright with the memories of all of these stories and the fact that I get to use it now.
Alphonse, how's your throwing arm?
Reasonable.
Good, you'll have several chances. We've got a shed full of this stuff.
Fantastic.
I don't think we'll be able to carry it all, though. I don't want to put all of this into a sack and have them clanging about.
Big brother, I don't know if this is helpful, but some of the guards did manage to build a catapult with scraps that's being held over where the tavern used to be.
Did they test it
Over by-
at range?
Yeah.
Yeah, they fired it twice. It can reach out to about 600 feet.
600 feet, but the ships are a couple miles.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's going to help us much then.
See that Rena's just continuously growing this pile of weapons that she's been bringing from.
Where
Strasbourg.
are you getting these from, Rena?
Collecting?
Collecting.
Mm-hmm.
From whom?
Oh, you know, the odd traveler, the wants to, trade and,
And what are you
the
trading in
soldier-
return?
their lives.
So they're giving you two things, and you're giving them...
No. I give them their lives, and then they give me what I need from them.
Wait, you give them their lives?
Yeah.
I very much like you. You're my new favorite person, Rena.
What is wrong with this family?
There is... The keynote here is that I have weapons, and the soldiers of Boss Ride don't like me all that much.
I don't like you that much right now. But I love you.
I have a quiver of about 100 arrows. Do you still not like me?
I've got arrows, and I don't need arrows, even. My bow... Don't worry about my arrows. Alright? I've come a long way from needing arrows, as Nito wistfully looks back to his first few days with the Novatori, about how when he only had 2 to 3 arrows on him. But you'll notice that as you look back, Nito does have his bow, but he does not have a quiver.
The other thing I thought might be helpful, and she throws 3 bags, and you see out of one of the bags spills a helmet of a soldier of Bashrai. Outfits.
Outfits indeed. I'm
Mm,
going to pull out my
Sheila.
disguise kit and say,
Okay.
and I can sell this.
Rena, we're not playing dress up anymore. This is for real.
Yes, we can get on the ships if we look like them, Nito.
Yes, I understand that, but
Ooh, hey, Alphonse, what about if we pose as soldiers of Bashrai, and we captured a member of the Novatori for questioning?
That sounds like a delightful premise. It would certainly let us aboard, Nito.
how many DM? How many uniforms are there?
There's 3.
Okay, cool.
So here's
well,
what we do.
I
When
love
we
that
get-
plan, Rena. But
Mhm.
I would hate to waste all of the hard work you've done and waste this third uniform.
I feel like you're just trying to
Well-
get out of this.
Listen, I love my sister, and I don't want her to do an unnecessary amount of work.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
How will we sell the story that we are 3 soldiers of Basrai who were not already on the ship?
Simple. We have this several sacks or whatever filled with things, and we can say that we found proof that these civilians were trying to arm themselves.
So if we fail, they will kill your remaining town folk. That sounds like a great plan.
If we fail, they're going to kill us, the town, anyways.
Well, what would the leader of your party do in this situation?
She would slap somebody on the ass, tell them they were doing a good job, and heal them.
It doesn't seem very productive in this instance.
Listen, don't question how the Vitore do things.
I question everything. I'm a bard. You must know how things work.
At least I know that when this inevitably fails and we're dead, we won't have to worry about it anymore. So there's that.
That is fair.
We're not going to be dead.
I still think your sister's plan is the better of the two.
We're going to make it out of here. We're going to get this town the help that it needs. And then you're going to explain why Mom and Dad's spirits are hanging around you. Because I think listen, I know things haven't been easy for you, but it's been a rough 3 years for me as well. But I've been captured before. I don't like the idea of pretending to be captured again, but listen, Rena, Mom and Dad and myself aren't, well, we're not the last of your family. If things go south, I want you to leave. Head north. Far, far north. It's going to be very, very cold. There's a place called Scaldarin. When you get there, ask for Revna. She's... well, her and I are very close, and we were actually talking about starting a family together.
Now's not the time to be joking, Nita.
And I'm not.
You, with the girlfriend?
Yeah, your older idiot brother finally talked to somebody. Let me tell you, her family is. I had to fight people, and it was. But her father, Brennan, he was. He helped us. He's a sailor like me. And then her cousin Kelia was the first Ganid we met. She has this giant bear named Igor that is a good friend of mine. He and I talk quite a bit when I go to visit. But you'll be safe there.
But let's get this plan going.
Ow, sorry.
Are you,
Let's get going. We need
Are you
we need to
okay?
move. I'm fine. We just need to get moving.
Okay, drink some water, and meet me out by the shed. I want us equipped with this liquid as much as we can. And I guess we'll do things your way.
He gathers up the gear, heads off to the back room to get changed.
Alphonse. While she's gone, I'll look at Alphonse. Alphonse, I know we've just met, but promise me, Reno won't leave my side, and I know that, but if things look like they're getting grim, get her out of here. Please.
Things are already grim, but I do take your meaning. And I promise. We'll see her safely north should things not work in our favor.
And also, and he'll look down, he'll pause real quick, and here. And I will hand my notebook over to Alphonse.
I think perhaps that's premature. You hold on to it.
I might not get the chance, so I'd rather it be in your hands for now. Just make sure she gets it at the end of the day.
Rena comes back out in her armor.
I will be putting away the book as she does so.
Well, I hate to say it, but looks good on you, sis.
I will murder you if you say that again.
You ready for the
Surprisingly,
face paint?
You'd fit right in with the Novatori and especially Inoki. Inoki's very stabby as well.
Nito, would you mind giving me the pink and fleshy paint job for my face while Alphonse gets changed?
Yeah, we'll do one last game of dress up.
Those soldiers of Basrai, they're all human, so
Yeah, and I'll. Where's your kit? You don't have your kit, do you?
I'll hand you my kit. Here. I will return shortly.
Thank you, Alphonse. Thank you. Close your eyes.
she closes her eyes, and as you're kind of getting a good closer up look on her, you can see scars and nicks on her neck and face, and you can see the lines of constant grimaces and frustration and sadness on her face.
I will do my best to avoid some of the scar areas. Just tell her, so it's been too long, but I'm sorry I couldn't get here sooner. We had to do what the Novatori had to do. The stakes were great.
You had a mission. It's okay. You don't need to explain yourself, Nito.
I could have been here sooner, though. I could have been here before this happened. And
You could have saved us.
Ow. Damn it. Oh.
And Nito just quietly puts on the rest of the disguise.
She pulls on the gloves, and as you see she does, you can see that there are some deep scars running across her forearms. She kind of pulls them up. Alright, I'm gonna gather up the rest of my things.
Rena, wait, before...
Yeah?
I'm sorry.
What?
Truly sorry. I wasn't here when you needed me most. I wasn't here when Mom and Dad needed me. I wasn't here when the town that raised me, that threw me that going away party, that gave me my first set of armor, my first cutlass. I wasn't here to save them. I wasn't here to protect them. But I can promise you this. We, for damn sure, will get revenge in their name. These people will pay tenfold in blood for what they did to this town. And they will fear the Vitore from this day forward. I promise you that. And you see it's this look of not even anger, just almost feral determination in Nito's face and eyes.
I believe you. I hope you're right. Otherwise, we all died for nothing.
Has your big brother ever lied to you before? Except for that time that I told you I didn't know what Mom and Dad got for your birthday. That one doesn't count.
Are you counting the one where you told me that the next time you saw me that you would read me a bedtime story?
When we get home tonight, I'll read you one.
I'm holding you to that.
Deal.
Alright, enough sentimental nonsense. Let's get this stuff going.
Alright.
Alphonse, you come out of the back room, freshly dressed in your Boss Rye soldier costume.
Not as flamboyant as I'm used to, but it'll do. Everyone ready?
I didn't want to say anything, but you were a bit ostentatious before.
I'm a bard, Nito. Ostentatious is practically my middle name.
We've got to get you up north and let you meet some of the Scalds up there. They are slightly more subdued. But real quick, can I see one of those spears real quick?
Yeah, here you go.
I found a chunk of wood out back. I might be able to do some stuff at the woodworking station and get us a second ore.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna... there's a wheelbarrow over at one of the abandoned houses. I'm gonna go get it so we can move supplies.
Okay. And while she's doing that, I'm gonna head out to the back, grab a block of wood, try to fashion an ore head, and see if I can't get it onto the top of this.
Okay. Go ahead and do you have a proficiency with carpenter's tools?
I do not. I'm proficient with navigator's tools and water vehicles.
Okay. So go ahead and roll me a wisdom check. Just ran standard wisdom.
Okay.
Alphonse, what are you doing meantime?
That's an 8.
I am thinking about what we'll need to do to sell this and coming up with a story.
Nito, you fashion a crude ore, but it is an ore.
Well, we only need it for one night. This will have to do. And Nito walks back in and proudly, puts the ore in there. Best work I've ever done.
Front door opens and Rena kind of says, "It's just a piece of wood."
It's an ore. What do you think ores are? They're just pieces of wood.
Okay, well, I have the wheelbarrow. Should be able to load up the supplies here.
Okay.
Where did you leave your ship?
Just down at the shore.
Did you tell her it was a ship and not a rowboat?
It's a rowboat?
You'll be fine.
That's why we need the ore.
We're gonna die.
Not today, we're not. Someday, yes, but not tonight.
Let's get a move on then.
Yeah, if we're gonna sell this, Nito will take off both of his cutlasses. You'll need to take these. Leave my bow. I'll put my cloak over my bow on my back. I don't have a quiver, so even if they find it, they shouldn't be too worried.
Yes, I'll bring the quiver with arrows to say we confiscated it from you.
Sure.
Yes. That's a great idea. Can I use my disguise kit to make Nito look beat up?
Yeah, easily.
Excellent. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, you can put a little bit of darker eyeshadow, black eye.
This would be much quicker if you just punched me for real.
Is that what you want?
Not particularly, no.
Rena just walks right up and punches you right in the other eye. Now you have 2 black eyes.
I use Rena's black eye to model the paint for the fake black eye. Excellent.
You've been waiting to do that for a couple of years now, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll make sure to add that into the bedtime story tonight, too. Well, to the shore.
And you all collectively gather everything up and wheelbarrow your way over to the rowboat. As you can see, the 3 ships now moored out in the cove.
All right, Rena. Which one did you say Piper was on?
That's the Cutlass over there with the. You see the red stripe down the side of the hull?
Yeah. That's going to be our easiest target to start with.
Yeah. The captain is rather young, so we should be able to defeat him pretty easily. And there's only 20 crew members on board.
Right. Well, I guess now's as good a time as any, and as that happens, as they start getting prepared, Nito's just going to, again, clutch his symbol of Theoside and just not pray this time, but just hope that it all works out for him.
Okay. And Alphonse, what are you doing?
I am still working on our story, trying to figure out how we sell the fact that we are on a rowboat.
Okay.
I think, most likely, we just got separated.
That could do. I mean, Rena, how often do these ships come ashore? These 3 ships?
Well, not often.
Good.
I haven't seen anyone from the ship in 3 months.
You could have been patrolling guards or something like that. Confiscated this rowboat from one of the locals here. Knew that you needed to talk to one of the captains about finding a particular person of interest.
Sounds like a good enough story to me. Now we just have to sell it.
Rena just starts loading up the stuff from the wheelbarrow into the rowboat.
Careful,
I'm
Rena,
gonna
careful.
help.
This stuff, according to Alphonse here, this stuff is highly volatile, so
Only once you
Don't-
light it.
drop. That's my other question. How are we lighting this?
Well,
I got that.
You've got that?
I
Mhm.
also randomly start a fire anytime I'd like. The fire is not our problem.
Right. Rena, you and I are having a very long talk when we get back.
Yes, big brother talking to little sister about all she's been up to and how disappointed dad he is. Can we move on?
Well, Dad is not disappointed, not anymore. And with that, we move out.
And Rena just kind of rowing the boat for y'all as you guys start making your way towards
Row, row your boat.
towards the Cutlass. Is Nito actually singing "Row, row, row your boat"? on the way down?
100%.
I'll join in.
And
Let's get some bardic inspiration going around here.
you guys approach just underneath the Cutlass. Doesn't look like any alarms have been triggered. There is some handles to climb up the side of the ship to the deck.
Well, I'm gonna need your help, assuming that... Are my hands tied in front of me, behind me?
Perhaps I should go
Your
ahead.
hands are currently not tied.
Oh, we should probably tie my hands before we go aboard. We've got plenty of rope.
See, Rena quickly and expertly makes a knot tied around your hands. Says, "Well, just pull your hands apart and the knot will come undone." But it looks tied.
Yeah, I know Volt's secrets. I was there before you were.
Oh, Volt taught you that. Oh, okay.
Where do you think I hung out during the days, Rena?
Yeah, that's where I learned to do
Yeah.
knots too.
Yeah, he's the best. And I guess
I would
I'll
like
go
to
in
insight
between you
check
two.
Rena.
Go ahead and insight check.
That's a nat 20
Oh.
for 25. I hate that I just
That is-
wasted that 20 on this.
That is absolutely and unequivocally not where she learned to tie knots.
I'm gonna keep that to myself and just mentally I love her. Perhaps I should go ahead and see what I can see.
And I'll go second as my hands are, I guess, tied in front of me, and I'll carefully make my way up.
Alphonse, you reach the top, and the crew, from what you can look, is currently sitting around the center mast, where there is a young woman who is currently chained to the mast, and there is tomatoes being thrown at her. They're all just kind of laughing and cheering.
They are distracted. I'm gonna peek over the side and sort of wave Nito and Rena up.
Make my way up and be like, as I get to the top, I'll kind of whisper, a little help getting me over the top.
Yeah,
I'll show you my hand.
I'm gonna pull him up.
I just kind of flop onto the deck.
Rena, right behind you, and you see her take a look up. See what's going on at the center mast, and you see her draw her bow and fire an arrow right at the first one that she sees. And that's going to be initiative.
Freaking impulsive child.
Now I roll well.
And you just hear her say, you hear Rena, "You're all gonna die. You think you can get away with this? No.
Damn it, Rena!
And that'll be Nito up first, as you see the arrow that she fired at one of the crew members just right through the back of the head.
Goodness.
And you hear Rena say, "I'm coming for you. Just stay strong."
By the guts! And he'll pull his hands apart and just swords and try to just grab both the swords that Rena was holding, and
they're on the floor.
Just grab them and just rush for this group of soldiers.
Okay. So the first crew member is literally right there. You're able to get right to him really quickly.
Yeah. And I'll immediately take a slash at him.
Okay.
For a 13.
That'll hit.
He's going to take 9 damage.
Okay. You go slashing right through his gut, and he almost completely is cutting.
Yeah,
but he's still just guts pouring, just trying to crank out one swing at you.
As that happens, I'm going to pull it out and spin around, and then with my offhand, just slash into his back.
Okay, roll to hit.
18.
That'll hit.
For 6 more damage.
All right. And you complete the cut from the other side, and he just folds through the half, right onto the floor. Just drops, guts spilling out everywhere.
Oh, evening, lads. I see you have one of my friends here. Do be a dear and let her go, and we can just forget all of this ever happened. What do you say?
And that'll bring us to the third bandit and the third pirate crewman, and he's like, you hear him say, "It's the Wraith! It's the Wraith!" And goes to cut right into Rena. That'll be a miss. As the fourth one shows to surround her, you see they're all swarming her, have not paid a single bit of attention to you. And that'll hit. As he cuts into Rena, and Rena just looks like she is absolutely loving every minute of what she's in right now. Does not look to be caring much about the pain that she's in or the cut that just administered to her side. Just enjoying herself right now. The next one comes up to you, Nito, and fires a flintlock at you. That'll be a 15 to hit.
Miss.
It tings right off your shoulder pauldron and off to the side.
You think that's the first time I've been shot at?
The next one swarms up to you again, Nito. Fires again, and that'll miss wildly. As the next pirate crewman comes up to Rena, swings and misses. And the next pirate crewman up to Rena again, swings and misses. Another pirate crewman fires another shot at you, Nito, and that's 21 to hit.
That's a hit.
Okay. Is it feeling a bullet rip through your midsection for about 5 piercing damage.
Who taught you to aim? Your dead grandmother?
And fire again at you, Nito. That's an 11 to hit.
That's a miss.
The next one fires at Alphonse. That's a 6. Another one fires at Alphonse with a 17 to hit.
That's a hit.
Feel a bullet rip through your shoulder. 8 piercing damage.
Ow.
As the remaining pirates start swarming around your sister. As you see the
Alphonse,
captain,
do something about that.
You see the captain move out of the captain's quarters and enter the actual deck area where the fighting is taking place, but that's the end of his turn. Alphonse, it's your turn.
Okay. This is fun. I am going to cast. I'm going to aim this so I can hit as many of the people surrounding Rena as I can without hitting Rena.
Okay.
Casting Shatter.
So that'll be 6 of the pirate crewmen.
Excellent.
Or the ship crewmen.
So they need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. So that is a 2.
A 2. Okay.
And the second one is an 18. Third one is 17. Fourth one is 7. Fifth one is an 18. And the last one is 17.
Okay. So any of them that didn't beat the 16 take 14 damage. Anything that did takes 7. Thunder damage.
You see two of them just explode from the thunder damage.
Excellent.
Just absolutely ruptured.
And then bonus action, I'm going to whistle a note to give Rena 1d8 of Bardic Inspiration.
Okay. And that'll bring us up to Rena's turn. Who is going to use her turn to use her special magical item, and you see her vanish from the center of the crowd and then appear about 3 feet above the pirate captain, right above his head, as you see her split into 3 beings. One actually looking like Rena, and 2, for a split second, you see the ghost of your father and the ghost of your mother, as all 3 sink daggers into the back of this pirate, and back of this captain.
The wrath of the Ademies is fearsome indeed. You're going to teach me how to do that one day.
And you didn't want to bring her.
I still don't, but I'm going to learn how to do that.
That'll be advantage. Okay, it still hits, but not in the crit. And then piercing. She does 6 piercing damage to the pirate captain, and then her sneak attack plus the whales from the grave mean that she's going to do a decent amount of damage. That is 11 sneak attack damage plus the 3 whales from the grave damage.
Nice.
And then you see that she uses the next one to the one right in front of you, Nito, since the whales of the grave. She's going to target that one, and that one's also already been hit by
the shatter?
By Alphonse, yeah, but is not dropped. And she targets it, and you see the necrotic energy turn into the ghost of your mother and skewer right through the back of the one that's right in front of you. And then that one drops to the floor dead. And that'll be the end of Rena's turn. And back up to you, Nito.
Alright, so she's with the captain. How many of the regular soldiers that were where Rena was are there left?
There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 that are unharmed, and 3 that have been hit by the shatter.
Alright, so I'm going to run up on the 3 that have been hit by the shatter.
Okay.
I'm going to run off in that direction. And as I'm running with my swords, you see those spectral sharks again start surrounding me, and then they kind of split off. 5 or 6 go to my right arm, and 5 or 6 go to my left arm. And I will make my first attack on one of the messed up soldiers.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a nat 1, baby.
That's going to miss.
And then I will sweep in with my left arm for an 18.
That'll hit.
All right. And that's going to be, and then I add a d6 to that. That's going to be 8 plus 4, 12 total damage.
Okay. You see, lop the head right off of that one right in front of you.
Yeah, like as I go to swing it, like I kind of thrust at it, and the blade doesn't hit him, but the sharks like extend the rest of the blade, and they like bite and eat up the guy.
You see the sharks, kind of spectral sharks, just kind of chomp away at him, and turns into mush on the floor.
And I'll just look at the other two like, you're dealing with me right now, if you don't mind. And I will try to position myself in between them and Rena so that if they try to charge at her, that they have to run past me.
Okay. And that'll bring us to the pirate crewmen. The crewmen. They're all going to try to bum rush you, Nito. Trying to get past you to get to Rena.
All right.
So, first one.
I'll take my reaction on the first one that tries to run by me.
Yep. So no, they're all trying to attack you to get past you.
Oh, they're all trying to attack me? Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So that'll be a 17 to hit.
Yep, armor class is 17. So.
Okay. So that'll be 6 slashing damage. The next one. Hit. 2 slashing damage. The next one. Miss. The next one. Miss. Next one. That's a hit. As it hits you, cuts right into you with 3 slashing damage. Next bandit. I'm sorry, the next crewman. That's gonna be a 9 miss. Next one is a 16 for another miss. They're all just kind of selectively trying to hit you as they gang up on you, and all like tinging across your armor or making nice cuts in between the armor plating and such. But no one landing a decently solid hit on you just yet. Next one is a hit, and that one's going to hit hard for 7 points of slashing damage. He cuts right into your neck area. As we approach the last remaining 4, that is a miss. That is a hit. He cuts into you with another 2 points of slashing damage, nicking your arm. And then the final 2 is a miss. And another miss. As that brings us to the captain, who turns and swings his sword at Rena. And right through her, but she's not there. Just disappears. And you hear him, "Get out and face me, Wraith!" And that brings us to Alphonse.
Excellent. I am going to cast Hold a Person.
Okay.
On the captain.
Okay.
It's a DC 16 Wisdom saving throw.
You see, what was that?
16.
That is a 13, so failure.
Excellent. He is paralyzed until I do not concentrate, and he can make a Wisdom save at the end of his turn. So, have that lovely advantage. Bonus action. Gonna do another whistle and give Nito 1d8 of Bardic Inspiration.
Thank you.
Okay. And that brings us to Rena, who is going to use her next attack, and she reappears up near the crow's nest and fires her bow. That's going to be a 16 to hit on the captain. That'll hit. Still has sneak attack damage, but is not going to use the whale. So that's going to be 9 piercing damage, plus a sneak attack is an additional 10 for 19 points of damage. As you see an arrow just right into the neck of the pirate captain, as he's still just angrily pissed off. Ah! And you hear Rena just kind of laugh. They're cute when they're angry.
Did you roll that with advantage because he's paralyzed?
No, I did not, but I can just to be sure.
Just in case.
Yeah, no. Right. And that'll bring us up to Nito.
All right. So, with my main action, I'm going to use 10 of my 15 lay on hands.
Okay.
To heal up. a little bit. And then I will bonus action cast Shield of Faith.
Okay.
So a shimmering field, and it kind of looks like ocean waves are kind of like a little sphere of ocean waves kind of surround me now. And you see the sharks kind of start circling around me as if almost in a protective stance, and I get a +2 to my AC as long as I concentrate on it.
All right. You can see that one of the bandits to your right is currently looking at the alarm bell.
And
Looks like he's planning on going to ring it.
I'll look at all of the bandits like, I told you, you don't get through me. She gets to do what she's going to do, and you're going to die here. Understood?
Oh, talk. You're outnumbered.
And you're outgunned. Haven't you ever heard of the Vitore?
The who?
That's your biggest mistake right there. Maybe read a book once or twice. Although, looking at you, I doubt you can read.
If you were a bard, that statement could have hurt him.
Anything else to your turn?
No, I'm just going to stand my ground right where I'm just in the way.
Okay. So the bard's going to attempt to get past you to ring the bell. Not even trying to attack. That's attack opportunity.
Yeah, I'm going to take a stab at him.
All right.
Oh, yeah, 25.
That's a hit.
All right.
Damage?
So, that is 9 plus 1 for 10 damage.
You see, you cut him so bad that he is like literally from shoulder all the way to hip across the back, but he grasps the bell string and looks like he's about to ring it. I'm going to give Alphonse one free action since you are not in combat with anybody really. One free action, whatever you'd like to do.
I think I would like to cast Vicious Mockery at him. Just, you poor fool who can't read, can't even grab a bell string properly. The Wisdom save DC of 16.
That is a 3.
Okay, it's gonna take
Dumb.
3 psychic damage.
You just hear him start sobbing and then fall on the floor dead.
Excellent. See, that's how you insult someone.
That was quite rude.
And that'll bring us to the next one, who's going to attack you, Nito.
Alright. Armor class is 19 now.
That is just barely a hit. So that's going to be 7 points of slashing damage, cutting right through. This one just kind of grits his teeth and is like, who's outgunned now?
I make the con save though. And I just laugh at him.
That's a 5 from the next one, who's just scared. Shitless.
I've fought literal children stronger than you.
7 missed. 7 missed. They all can't hit now. 12 missed.
I mean, to be fair, if you've been attacking a guy 17 times and you haven't killed him, you're going to be a little...
9 miss. Fucking 7 miss. 17.
Miss, because my armor class is 19 now.
Shit, man. 6 miss. 8 miss.
Like, yeah, they're all like trying to attack me,
miss.
and as they like the bubble just like reflects them. They're just bouncing off of this bubble.
Jesus Christ. 9 miss. Last one. 13. We all miss except for that first one. And
Now, what did I tell you, folks? Now, if you'd be kindly and just jump over the side, we can hurry this day up, and you might actually live.
So, does the pirate captain get another chance to avoid that, to dispel for the,
At the end of his
paralyzation?
turn, he can re-roll the wisdom save.
Oh, cool, it's at the end.
Okay.
Yes, at the end
Yeah,
of his
so-
turn.
That's a failure. So, that's the end of his turn.
Excellent.
And that brings us to you, Alphonse.
Cool. I am going to draw my rapier and close with the captain.
Okay.
To roll with advantage. That's a whole 14 to hit.
That'll hit.
Excellent. It counts as a crit because he's paralyzed.
Oh, shit.
It's great. That's delightful. So, 11 whole points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
Just. You should have taken my friend on his offer to surrender, and then just stick it right through his chest.
Hi, I tried to...
But we have a ship now. It's ours. Everyone else, listen to my friend. Throw yourselves overboard.
Shoo.
So, that brings us up to Rena, who darts towards you, Alphonse, and says,
Mine. Why did you take it?
Like what?
She kind of grabs her head.
There are 2 more. You'll get your fill.
And she faces over at the other crew members and fires one arrow. $18, that'll hit. Plus 5. So that's 5 piercing damage into one of the ones that was already injured as he drops to the floor, dead. And that'll bring us up to Nito.
Well, I tried being nice. I tried being diplomatic. Now you have to die. So, enjoy that. And I will take a slap. We've killed all the ones that were already injured, right?
There's still one that is still heavily injured.
Alright, cool. I'll attack him first.
Okay.
16 to hit.
That'll hit.
He's going to take 9 damage.
Okay.
Is he
He
dead?
drops to the floor, dead.
Cool. And then I will swing around and just make a piercing thrust to the nearest one at me
Okay.
for another 16.
That'll hit.
And he is going to take, good roll, plus that, 11 damage.
And he drops to the floor, dead.
See, as I was saying, die or jump. Which would you prefer?
And with that, you see them all collectively look at each other and start running to jump off the ship. That invokes attacks of opportunity.
No, I'm going to let him go.
Alphonse?
I am also going to let them go.
You see Rena fire another arrow right into the back of one.
That tracks.
And that's going to hit for 5 piercing damage. Plus sneak attack because that's...
As they're jumping over, like, there's a boat down there if you'd like.
And you're right through the back of the neck of one. and drops out of the ship and falls into the water. And you see her head over towards the side of the ship and start drawing into the arrow.
Rena,
I join her with my bow.
I offer them the chance. Not my circus, not my monkeys.
And
I'm walking to free the person tied to the mast.
Go ahead.
I got a 12.
Yep, that'll hit.
Okay, that's 7 plus 12, 19 damage.
Yep, this arc of lightning hits this thing. It hits this crew member and just explodes from the electricity.
Better hurry!
And Alphonse, you get over there to the person tied up, and it's this young, maybe 17-year-old Vinay girl who was chained up to the mast, just dripping wet with tomatoes that have been thrown at her. You see that her arms are all bruised and battered and worn, and she's got these really deep sunken eyes. She looks extremely skinny and malnourished.
Let's get you down from here, dear. She bound with rope and chain.
Help, Rena. Don't let her go, too. And she, passes out.
Neil, I'm gonna use a Heckin' Cure Wounds. Try and mitigate some of this.
Okay. You see, you hear Rena in the background just, die! As she fires another arrow.
Okay.
You see the spectral forms just emanating off her as she is just glowing this sickly green color right now.
Nito, perhaps rein in the murder?
Yes. Just one more.
She fires another arrow and it right through the back of the skull of one of them. And that'll bring us up to you, Nito.
Alright, and with that, Nito, I will look over at my darling sister and I'll put an arm around her waist, kind of in a front hug around her waist. That's enough, sister. We have more work to do. There'll be plenty more of this, but just come back to me for now, and I'll give her a little kiss on the cheek like I did right before I left home.
Okay. Better give me a persuasion check.
Nat 20, 23.
You see her look at you, and you see just this glint of just insanity in her eyes. Her pupils are dilated, and you see there's this look of utter enjoyment at all this death and destruction that she's causing. And then her eyes refocus, and you can actually see Rena again. It wasn't all, that wasn't her that you were looking in the eyes of.
Rena.
What?
And I just give her a big hug. We have work to do besides slaughter. We need to focus on that. Alright, go help your friend. I'll go get Piper.
Nice. And she starts running over.
I'll go below decks and start searching for wherever.
So, Nito, you go below decks, and Alphonse, you're over there, and you see Rena like drop her boat at her side and get over there and just kind of like rapidly cup the Vinaya woman's face and like looking all over and see her. What? I thought you were dead. What? And she like starts rummaging through her bag for something.
She'll be okay. And I cast that Cure Wounds for 7 hit points. And then I will also use Prestidigitation to sort of clean her up a bit. And pull out some water.
You see her dig through, pull out a set of lock picks and start working on the lock. Unlocks it, and you see her just kind of pull her off of the mast and into her arms as Bernice kind of starts to come to. And you see Rena look at her and says, I thought you were dead. They've had you here? And Bernice kind of looks up and says, yeah. My hero, you come to save me. Of course I came to save you. You see that she leans in for a kiss. Nito, you're down below decks.
Yep. Missed all that.
You see there is a single cell in the center of this room, and that below there is a wall of cells on left and right. So you can go down below to the second lower level, or you can on this level there's a single cell in the center.
I'm gonna check this one first.
Okay. You walk up and you see that the cell itself has runes etched all across the bars, the door. The floor has runes in a circle, all emanating this like dark purple color. There are chains that are bound to the ankles and wrists of Piper Viridian. You see she's a green-haired, looks to be half-elf with freckles, in rags, beaten, bruised, bloody. You can definitely tell that she's broken at least 4 or 5 of her bones in her limbs. And you see that the chains themselves have runes all over them. You see her look over at you, and you see her just try to nod her head left to right, as into sign no. But you see that the runes kind of light up just a little bit, and she like winces in pain.
Don't worry, Lady Viridian. I'm here to help. I'm one of the Vitore. Stay there. I'll go get some of my friends, and we'll figure this out. We'll get you out of this. And with that, I will run upstairs.
Okay. You run up to see your sister kissing the Vinaya that was on the mast.
Well, it would appear I'm not the only one who's had romantic luck since our last departure.
Looks up at you. Shut up.
Oh, this would explain your anger and that outburst. Alphonse, the person we came here for, at least on this ship, is down below on the next level down, but there's all sorts of runes and everything, and if she even moves, it looks painful. We need to. Could you take a look at it? I'm going to search the captain and see if he's got a key or scroll or anything on him that would undo that.
I can certainly try.
Appreciate it.
And I'll go below decks.
And I'm going to fucking strip this captain naked and see what he's got in any pocket.
You find a singular key outside of his regular clothes and his weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing on him is a singular key.
All right, I'll take the key and I'll rush down to Alphonse.
Okay. Alphonse, what are you doing as you get downstairs? You see this central cell, and then down below you see this wall of cells on left and right. And on the central cell, there is these runes that are in this dark purple light all over the cell door, the floor, and the chains that are binding Piper.
I would like to look at the runes and see if it's something that I could potentially dispel.
Okay. What languages do you speak?
Common, Druidic, Elvish, and Sylvan.
You recognize the runes are Sylvan. And you recognize that this is a anti-magic binding spell. It reduces the strength and magical capacity that anyone bound by it has. And to dispel it, the outer ring of this is what is essentially a meteor swarm spell that if the ring is dispelled or triggered, it will cast the meteor swarm centered on the circle.
By the nine hells. We have a problem.
Nito, you get downstairs.
Alphonse, I found a key on the captain. Let me see if it fits.
Wait.
What do you mean, wait? We have the key.
Don't necessarily know if that key goes to this. And if this gets triggered, she dies. We all die, really. It will sink the ship if these runes get triggered. I see the key.
I'll hand Alphonse the key.
I like to sort of observe this key and see if it goes with this or...
Give me an investigation check.
Yeah. 7.
The actual tines for the key, the pins that are for actually turning and setting the lock, don't look like tines. They almost look like a word, but you can't make it out.
I have an idea. I need you to go up and get my sister, though. Bring her down here. Don't worry. She's not going to do anything.
I'm worried about what you might do if I leave.
I won't do a damn thing until she gets here, I promise. You can even take the key with you.
I am going to do that. Don't touch anything. I'll be right back.
You have my word.
And I'll go above deck and grab Rena and her girlfriend.
Nito?
Hey, we never
what
said
are
they
you
were
doing?
dating.
Well,
I'm just waiting.
okay. You bring them both downstairs?
Actually, I will touch the symbol of Theosity again. Is it still cold?
There is a slight trickle of energy. Very slight.
Theoside, please. This is for not just me, but the good of the realm as a whole. Please grant your paladin power one last time.
Roll percentage.
Six. Man, if this was divine intervention, that would have been phenomenal.
Nothing happens. But you feel a warmth in your pocket.
Yeah.
A very
I
hot warmth.
pull out the shard.
You go to pull out the shard and you realize it's coming from the other pocket.
I will reach into my other pocket.
And your hand grasps around the scale from the dragonfish.
I'll just stare at it. And I'll close my eyes.
There's a spark of electricity. Lightning crashes. And you just hear,
Nito. Long time.
Indeed, indeed. Good to hear from you again.
You are in a place I cannot reach easily.
What do you mean? We're on the water.
Something they are doing below keeps me away.
I've been worried about that. I haven't felt your glow in a while.
I believe they intend to release one of the hidden, like they did last year.
Yeah. I know. Well, they do say that the hidden one did it. It had a great strength, but is there any way that you can assist us in any shape?
Have. It's up to you to make the choice now. You must break the scale. But doing so, you only have one chance,
Yeah.
if you understand.
Well, this was supposed to be a gift to make up for
I'll see you when you're done.
Yeah.
I am sorry, Nito.
The world works that way sometimes.
and lightning crashes again, and you open your eyes. As Alphonse, you get downstairs with Rena and her girlfriend. That's confirmation, by the way, that is her girlfriend. just in case you needed that cleared up. That's Bernice, her girlfriend.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you. I needed a moment to prepare. Rena. And Bernice, was it?
Yes, Bernice. I
Don't
thought she,
Don't worry. Here. You two are very good together. I can see that already. I'm not smart, but I'm fairly perceptive. Rena, I love you more than anything. And I'll show you the scale. I got it on the way here. From a dragonfish. Not show the massive scale. I was gonna make it into a pendant for you for your birthday last month. I wasn't here to see you become the grown woman that you are now. And I'm so sorry. All of that. I didn't get to be here. I didn't get to see this love blossom between you two. I didn't get to say goodbye to Mom and Dad. I didn't get to be here for the city. But I'm here now, and I can save the city. I promise you that I can save the city. But I need you three to leave.
No.
Get back on the boat. Go back home. You've done your job. You already helped. You've done your job. You did what I brought you on this ship to do. Alphonse, make sure she gets her bedtime story. Please. And let this be one of your greatest tales.
I'm gonna look
Now go.
at the runes, and I'm gonna look at Nito, and I'm going to take the girls upstairs and get them on the boat.
Rena kind of shakes you off real quick and just repeatedly just punching Nito in the chest. No. No, I just got you back.
I take off the symbol of Theazade and I put it around her neck. I know it's not the right necklace, but happy birthday. And I give her a little kiss on the forehead. And I'll look at her girlfriend and our father isn't around, but you have my blessing, at least. Please.
You see Bernice
care of
Bernice nods at you and says, "Thank you." And you see her grab Rena's hand and starts pulling her, and Rena's just kind of pulling. No.
Rena, here, and I will take the bow off my back as well. You've always been a better shot than me anyways.
What exactly is your plan?
I'll just smile. I told you, didn't I? I was never the brains of the Vitore.
And so you're going to get the both of you killed.
No. She'll be fine. Piper will be fine. As will the others.
And Bernice pulls Rena up onto the deck of the ship, and they go down towards the rowboat. Alphonse, what are you doing?
There has to be a way around this. You cannot die here. First off, you cannot abandon your sister again. No. None of that. I'll let you say all of those foolhardy words to her and her girlfriend. You don't get to lie to me. I'm going to...
This is a paladin's job.
Yes, and it is a bard's job to make sure that Paladin lives to see another day.
No. It is the bard's job to tell the story. And this is going to be a great story.
It's going to be a terrible story. What if your plan doesn't work?
Well, then it'll just be another time that Nito had a terrible, terrible plan. Ask the Vitore about it sometime. He'll tell you. Please, get them back to town. Read her a bedtime story. And go on your journey.
You're a fool, Nito. I'm glad to have
Always
met
have
you.
been.
And I'm gonna go make sure they get back to town safe.
Okay. You guys start rowing away. Nito?
Nito waits a minute, makes sure that he gives them enough time. Mom? Dad? Captain Fairweather? At least I get to die at sea. And I'll take out my cutlass, and I'll stab it right into the scale.
The scale erupts in flame as you see all of the runes turn to cinders and start flying towards you. Alphonse, you feel all of the magic within you drain as you see just arcane energy swirling around Nito. You become engulfed in this fire as your skin turns from its greenish bluish color with the purple tint into this bright sun-kissed orange with red stripes as you are now overflowing with arcane power. As the runes disappear, the latches all drop, and the manacles are free. And you hear a voice in your head. 10 minutes.
More than enough time.
As wings of flame spurt out of your back.
I just don't even go to the stairs. I just burst through the ceiling up to the top of the deck.
You burst through the ceiling to the top of the deck, and you see the other two ships to your right.
I make for the blood shark first. I want to get Maya first.
All right, so you make right for the blood shark. What do you do?
As I get to the blood shark, I just immediately, with these wings, I fly through the sails and I set fire to the sails of the ship.
The sails burst into flame as you see them all start firing arrows at you. But every time that one even gets close, it just turns into ash.
I will just... Is there like a group of... Like, are they like kind of all clustered together?
Yeah.
Kind of, I will just
kind of clustered together, firing at you.
I will just kind of superhero landing, like right in the middle of them.
So you go to superhero landing and go ahead and roll me 10 d10s, please. As you superhero land and a bow of flame appears in your left hand.
56.
Just all of them completely around you. 20 of them just cinders. As you're staring down the captain, who looks to be a much tougher fight than the one that was taken out. You see he's got this long, big black beard.
Where is she?
You have to get through me.
And he draws his sword.
Poor choice of words. And I will just like Superman style, like 2 arms forward, make right for his chest.
So as you do, you go right through the center of him as he turns into a pile of ash behind you.
9 minutes.
Immediately just fly down the stairs. I'm assuming it's Nito's at least assuming it's a similar layout.
Yep, similar layout as you see. As soon as you land down there, the energy from the runes goes right into you again. 7, 6.
And I will just grab the bars and just melt them.
As you do, everything clasps off of her and she falls to the ground.
Queen, go help your people. They need you more than ever.
I'm going, thank you. And she casts a spell and disappears.
And I'll fly back upstairs and locate the 3rd ship and start making my way there again.
4 minutes.
I can make it! I can make it!
As you fly towards the last ship.
I don't even bother landing. I'm throwing fireballs down on my way there.
Just hitting the ship and everything bursts into flames as you land on the deck of the ship. There's not even anyone alive. The captain's just gone.
Just, again, full sprint against going hopefully to the same location.
Goes. Once again, the same thing. Arcane energy flows into you.
3, 2, 1 minute.
I can do this. I can do this.
As the bars fall away and the manacles release.
Grace.
Yeah. Yes.
Get off this ship. You don't have time.
She gets up and pulls herself together and darts up the stairs and out.
With that, Nito will just go to the deck of the ship.
30, 29, 28.
He'll just stand there, thinking, Mom, Dad. I get onto the railing of the ship and smile and just fall backwards into the ocean.
The loud
Boom.
the water erupts around you as you feel your consciousness slip away and you sink to the bottom of the ocean. Alphonse, 3 days have passed. You were in a small cart that you're able to requisition with Rena and Bernice. A little bit later, Rena looks at you and tears in her eyes. I think I'm ready for that story now.
I am going to pull out Nito's notebook and just read the words as Nito wrote them.
You see, before it starts on the very first page, it just says, "To my darling, beautiful sister, Rena, I love you." And then the story starts.
Dear Big Brother, it's been 2 weeks since we got to Skultern. I miss you every day. You saved me. Saved Bernice. And now we get another chance. A chance to have a good, full life. Revan has been good to us. She's helping plan the wedding. So I hope this letter reaches you in time. 14th of Darkrest. 4:26. In the cathedral in Skaldarin. Don't you dare be late. love. Rena.